Understood. Anybody else on the phone? That's good.
Hi.
Good, because now we have a quorum.
My goodness, looking at my trailer.
Yeah, my question was, do I make it down here or do I stop for a frappuccino? And I skipped the frappuccino and I made it here too.
I was like, do I hook the trailer up or go back home and hook it up? I can do it.
Okay, it's after 3, so we'll call the meeting to order. It's the Stark County Planning and Zoning meeting for September 29, 2022. We have the minutes from September 1st, 2022. Is there any corrections or changes to the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes from September 1st.
Okay,
I would second that,
a
Mr. Chair.
motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, state aye.
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 Those opposed, motion carried. Also, do we have anybody on the phone for part of his members?
Yeah, Commissioner Oderman's on the phone.
Okay, well, welcome to the board here.
Thank you.
And then Commissioner Franchuk, this is Amanda. I already said it, but in case you need it officially.
Okay, thank you. Okay, first item on our agenda today is a public hearing for an RZ 12-22 for Bruce Kronk is requesting rezoning from ag to rural residential on a parcel located in the west 760 feet of the northwest quarter of section 34, township 138 north, range 96 west, containing approximately 35 acres. Okay. Mr. Joe Simpson, are you here with it for the applicant, or could you just step to the podium and state your name and then what his plan is with this?
Curtis Freeman with KLJ, here representing Bruce Kronk. His plan is to look, he'd like to parcel off a piece of land for his daughter, and he figured while he was gonna do that, he would just split that into a couple 10-acre parcels. but he needed to rezone that before that, so that's what he's looking to do with that acreage.
Okay. Maybe any questions?
Yes, is the access to each one of these lots individually have to come off of Highway 22?
What they're looking, he's working with North Dakota DOT right now, to see how many access roads he could put in there. What he got from them was a maximum of 5 in a mile, and right now I think there's 4, so he could add 1. But, he's willing to take the 1 out that's there and add 2 back in there, kind of shared use probably, once they figure out where they're gonna go.
The existing one is further to the north, correct?
Right, yep. That's still his property to the north. And that would be a 5-acre parcel, and then he divided the others into approximately 10-acre parcels to the
And is
south.
there setback allowed for road along the west side there or not? Each lot would have to have their own?
Each lot would have to have their own, yeah.
So that would not be, that wouldn't work?
It
then?
wouldn't work, no. So he's working with the DOT to see what he could do there and what the plan would be to move forward, so.
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Chairman Franchuk and commissioners, when this zoning just to clarify for Commissioner Larson, when this zoning application came in, it came in with a proposed minor subdivision plat. And the minor subdivision plat was pulled from this hearing so that the applicant could work with DOT and try to come up with something, with something else. So the rezoning would need to be approved before a plat could come back to you for consideration. So the plat's not being discussed here at this point, but there may be one coming up in the future.
And it could be adjusted at that time, is what you're saying, to allow
It
only
would be
2
a-
lots maybe, if that's all the
Right, we'll
access
just,
they have.
right, we'll just wait to see what they come back with, but for today, the one thing that's in front of you for action is to rezone the property.
It's always beneficial to know what the purpose of the property is going to be and if it's beneficial for us to go ahead and make that change, if it's not gonna work to have the lots there.
Right, and there's another issue too. I was gonna wait on this, and it's in your staff report, which is the property is currently, I can mention it now, the property is currently zoned agriculture, and which is a minimum lot size of 40 acres. And the property is now 35 acres because of a land deal. So currently, even if they just wanted to put one house on the property, they couldn't do it because the lot is non-conforming. So by rezoning it, even if they didn't split it up, at this point, it would be conforming and they could get a building permit.
Any other questions? If not, then I'm gonna open up the public hearing on this matter. If anybody wants to speak for or against this matter, you can step forward. Just state your name, then state.
My name is Mark Sexton. I own the property just to the northwest of him there, that little 5 acres. So I'm more just curious as to what he was doing, because when I saw this, it said Indigo, acres, and I just was curious as to how many lots he was gonna put in and how they were going to put water to it, whether they were gonna use the wells or they were gonna tie into Southwest. Just questions like that, just so I kinda had an idea what in the world he's up to over there. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just more
Okay.
curious than not. So if I'd have known he was the one working on it, I'd have just cornered him yesterday and took care
Okay.
of this. So. But anyway, that is my concern, is just what I just heard you say is that he can only take it down to like 10 acres or whatever. Or can he put in 35 1-acre plots in there as well if he rezones it?
No.
No, 5 acres is the minimum,
So 7, it would be the most he ever puts in there if he did.
if the access is available, which means it's gotta be reconstrued over what we've seen here, which we really aren't seeing because it was withdrawn.
So then you would have to wait until he submits then a plat to see how he was gonna put water or electricity or anything else into that, or is that how that works?
Right, right now, his plan was that it was 3 10-acre lots and then a 5 acre is what his plan, but if he doesn't get access to that, it'll have to be changed.
I think we can ask the the applicant's representative to at least address, water, whether or not they're trying to get water from Southwest Water Authority and whether it's available, or if they would have to do, if they would have to go in and get potable wells for that.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, as far as I know, they were gonna do wells, and I live south of there, and they've had a well truck drilling a well on the property where his daughter was gonna try to build already, so their plan is to, I don't think it's to access Southwest Water, it's just to put in wells, yeah.
Do you have any other questions for him, or?
Well, my other question then would be what's the proximity between wells, between me and them? That, is there a state requirement or a county requirement for how far a well can be apart, or?
Sir, there's not a county requirement for that, but the Southwest Water Authority could give you those details. If you talk to Kevin Pavlish, he can tell you what the state regulations are, but whatever it is, they would have to follow. They would have to follow it. So I would call Mr. Pavlish up and ask him.
Well, I'm not worried about Southwest Water.
Yeah,
This is
I'm
what-
talking about the wells,
Oh, well,
I'm talking about
yeah.
Southwestern Health.
Oh,
So,
okay, I'm sorry.
yeah, so if you call Mr. Pavlish up and he can help you, he can let you know what those state requirements would be.
All right, I'm just
Sir-
curious, because my well sets right next to the highway, down at the
Okay.
bottom of the hill, so actually, basically, you're just right across the road. And then the only other question I have is the drainage. You do know that the thing floods from time to time, so I've lived out there for 30 years, so you kind of watch the water patterns, but I'm not, what he does with his property is his business, so. But anyway, that's the only concerns I have is what he's gonna do as far as the number and how he's gonna hook into the water system.
I would think that if there's any issues with flooding, that if he does any financing, he's gonna have to have flood insurance. so,
I'm sure he's gonna have to do something down there, so.
Okay, any other questions? or-
No, I'm good otherwise.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else have any comment for or against this matter?
I guess, how is your water well? I mean, do you have good water on your well?
I have good water.
Okay,
Yeah, I have a good well and I don't have stained water. I've got good water down there.
okay.
And I just wanted to assure Mr. Sexton that if they do come forward with a subdivision plat, a public hearing is required for that, so you would get notice. You would get notice of that also.
I just didn't want to have to show back that and say, well, now I'm against it. And I really don't.
Okay, okay, thank you. Anybody else have any comment for or against this matter? If not, then I'm gonna close the public hearing, and what's the decision to be made here by the board? What do we wanna do?
Let me
Or I
get a-
guess I should ask for staff
Thank you.
comments first, sorry. Getting
Thank
ahead of
you,
myself.
Chairman Franchuk, Commissioner Steve Josephson, County Planner. And you have before you, it's a request to rezone 35 acres from, approximately 35 acres from agriculture to rural residential, and that has a minimum lot size of 5 acres. As we had discussed before, this originally came in with a proposed minor subdivision plat, and that was pulled from public hearing today so that the applicant can work on revisions, revisions of this. Also, as I had mentioned in the opening part of this, the property has been reduced from 40 acres to 35 acres, so it doesn't conform to the minimum lot size for an agriculture zone piece of property. So if the applicant wanted to put a house on there, even without divvying it up, they would still have to rezone the property, so it would conform to the zoning ordinance. I think you can see from the map that's up there and the map that I've attached, that there are a number of properties within the immediate vicinity that are either zoned rural residential, which is what the applicant is requesting, or they've been rezoned to a zoning district that does allow for smaller, the non-agricultural, that does allow for smaller lots. Staff recommends approval based on the findings in the staff report, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Josephson?
Mr. Josephson, just so I'm very, very clear in my mind. If it's only this applicant's family that wants to build a house, there's still, it does not conform today. It still needs to be rezoned.
Yes, Commissioner Freilich, yes, they sold 5 acres off, and by doing so, made it non-conforming with the agricultural zoning district.
Any other questions? There's no other questions or discussion. I guess I'd look for a motion on this matter to approve or deny.
Mr. Chairman, I believe that at this point, we should go ahead and make approval of this property because at some point it's going to have to be approved anyway because it's not going to be conforming as is. And the only other, I don't see any other option other than for us to go ahead and approve this today.
Okay. You're making that motion then?
I am.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I will,
Okay. So we'll look a second on that then. Any other discussion?
So just so I'm clear on this, so when they come back, if they want to do the 5 acres or the 10 acres, then they'll have to come back with that.
Right.
Okay,
They have to come
Okay.
back with a plat then, and
okay.
there'll be a public hearing then too. Okay, any other discussion? Not that, a roll call vote. Commissioner Larson,
Aye.
Commissioner Sobeluk. Commissioner Freilich,
aye.
Commissioner Arthod,
Aye.
Commissioner Olderman,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye, motion carries. Okay, this will go before,
Denver Coons as well.
oh, okay, I didn't know you were on, okay. How do you vote?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Okay, now this matter will go before the county commission on, next week on October 6th for final approval on that. Okay. Any other questions or anybody have any comments?
Mr. Chairman, just for my understanding, with the 5 acres that they sold off of this 40-acre tract, is that 5 acres now in compliance?
Commissioner Larson, no, it would not be. So there was an existing house on there, but if they needed to come in for a building permit sometime in the future, we would make them aware that
Okay,
that
otherwise
it's zoned
just
ag and it
left.
doesn't, the agriculture, and it doesn't meet the 40 acres, and they would be required to rezone.
We don't
don't have
proceed
to-
to notify them that they're out of compliance, just.
No, I mean, anyone can come in and record anything.
Right.
But it'll be down the road if there's any development, if they want to replace the house or fix it up, or they needed a permit, then we would let them know that they needed to come before y'all for recommendation for rezoning into the county commission.
So when they sold that 5 acres, they didn't have to come in to rezone anything?
Well, if they don't contact us, there's no way of us knowing about it,
Okay.
so otherwise, had they contacted us, we would have advised them that, to come in for a rezoning.
Okay.
Okay, is there anything else, Mr. Joseph, and any other planning items or anything?
Not today, commissioners.
Okay. Okay, if there's nothing else, then I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.